with our first post-breakfast session and first afternoon session of the day on the panel number 6, Lifestyle Changes and Nutraceuticals, Nutrients, Foods, Diets and People. Very interesting session, something we haven't heard so far in both the days of discussion. We did, however, had a nutrition panel yesterday, but on nutraceuticals, lifestyle changes, this is something that is unique. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I call on the honorable panel members and the moderator, a quick run through what this panel is going to discuss in the next 60 minutes with you guys. Role of nutrition in fitness and weight management, new era of nutraceuticals, research, technologies and applications for the same, nutrition interventions in aging and age-associated diseases, the role of nutraceuticals on mothers and offsprings, disease and health, nutraceuticals and how are now they are considered as modern medicines with proven health benefits, latest health behaviors impacting the food industry today and for the future, and many more. So without further taking time of yours, please help me welcome the panel. And we have a big panel of 7 industry experts here today. Joining us first, and please help me welcome with a big round of applause, Mr. Sachin Gupte, Lead State Operations and Advisor for Large-Scale Food Fortification from PATH. A big round of applause to Sachinji. Welcome to the stage, sir. Please have your seat. Sir, chair number 1. Joining next, we have Mr. Narendra Savita, founder from GreeNox Foods. A big round of applause to Narendra Savita ji. Welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Pankaj Verma, consultant and coal metabolic health and child development from Nutrivive, Hindustan Unilever Limited. A big round of applause to Dr. Verma. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Dr. 𝐋𝐢𝐟𝐞𝐬𝐡, Executive Joint Director from Food Safety Standards Authority of India, Ministry of Health, Government of India. Big round of applause to Dr. 𝐋𝐢𝐼𝐻. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ms. Aparna Tandon, Jain AGM and NPD Nutrition from Signutra. Big round of applause to Aparna ji. Welcome to the panel, madam. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Kriti Soni, Global Head R&D Health and Wellness from 𝐅𝐵 Group. A big round of applause to Dr. Soni. Welcome to the panel, Dr. Kriti. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable moderator, Dr. �R.Manickavasagam, Vice President and Nutrica. Big round of applause to Dr. Manickavasagam. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. So, Dr. Manickavasagam, great responsibility, but I'm sure in right able hands of yours. Great panel, 60 minutes, looking forward to a fantastic discussion. All over to you.
Good afternoon to all, and we have been, for the last 2 days, we have been into the field of various topics, and this topic is going to be a very interesting, and all my expert panels are there, and more are physicians are there, and expert in their child and obesities, and everyone is having done, and particularly with the FSSAI people is also sitting here, and industrialists who is having a startup industries is the panel members. And to start, we with the famous quote of Vivekananda, and mother love is endless, and it never been opposition by any of other loves. So the role of nutraceuticals on the mother and offerings, how it is been taken in this new world. I just want to make Ms. Aparna ji to throw her lights on that topic.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sinex Group and sir, for giving me this opportunity of starting this session. So very good morning, everyone. I'm Aparna Tandon. By background, I'm a dietitian, and currently I'm working in the division wherein we work on the new product development in the Nutra industry. Now, the first topic which is given is the health of the mother and the offspring. The nutrition is very important at this particular stage, both for the mother as well as the newborn infant or the baby which is growing inside the mother. The nutrients which are of importance For the pregnant woman, becomes your protein, because it is going to help in the development of the growing fetus. Iron, calcium, folic acid, because every nutrient has a specific role in the development of the fetus. If the mother is not consuming sufficient amount of these nutrients, then the growing fetus is going to take that from the stores of mother. So mother is going to be deplenishing in those particular nutrients. Calcium, it is going to start extracting from the bones. Iron stores are going to be diminishing in the pregnant woman. So it is very essential that the pregnant mother should be given every day the RDA requirement, the recommended dietary allowances which are given by ICMR for pregnant mothers, that they have to consume 75 grams of protein in their daily diet, the iron requirement, so as to meet up her own requirements as well as the requirements of the growing fetus, so that the blood volume is adequate both for mother as well as the baby. If we see the anemia prevalence in the pregnant woman, it is still on a higher side. Although government is taking a lot of measures, they are distributing free iron tablets, calcium tablets, folic acid, but still this deficiency is still prevalent, and if the anemia is there in the pregnant mother, it can lead to many problems at the time of birth. It can lead to premature babies, it can lead to stillbirth babies, it can be premature deliveries. So a lot of problems can be there in the growing fetus, for the mother health as well as for the growing infant. Calcium again required for the bone development of the baby. The folic acid which is required for the spinal cord and the brain development of the baby. And nowadays, Nutra is into the new era. We say that we are doing a lot of research in the area. And you all must have heard of DHA, which is again playing a great role in the brain development. And that's why from the pregnancy itself and till 2 years of age, DHA is something which is there being additionally supplemented. Although we can also get it from the diet also. People who are non-vegetarian, they can get good amount of DHA from the fish source. In vegetarians, they can get it from the good omega-3, the good fatty acids, which we get from the almonds and the walnuts, and also some from our oils also. But from omega-3 to DHA, the conversion process results in losses, and that's why it is recommended to give the purest form, which is DHA. And in the vegetarian source, we extract it from the algae source, and we add this in the nutraceuticals, in the supplements. So that DHA has a role in the brain development of the baby. So all these nutrients like your protein, your iron, calcium, folic acid, DHA, choline is something which is again now very popular and is being added in the nutraceutical supplements. Choline along with folic acid again has a role in the spinal cord and the brain development of the growing fetus. So all these nutrients becomes very, very important. And for the growing kid also, we say it is the 1,000 days for the baby to get the adequate nutrition. So 1,000 days, it starts from the day of conception till the child is achieving 2 years of the age. So this particular period of 1,000 days is very, very important for the growing child also, because this time whatever kind of nutrition they are getting is gonna help in their future development, their growth and development, so that they can achieve their growth milestones at right time, at right age. So this is how I would like to sum up that these nutrients are very, very important for the mother as well as for the growing offspring.
Thanks, Aparna ji. She talks about the growth nutrition's way. And usually industries or any people will be talk about the macronutrients, which talks about fat and energy, proteins. But actually the micronutrients are playing a major role, very highest major role, which gives us, for example, in the bone, around 62 micronutrients are essential in the bone development. So I request Dr. Pankaj Verma to put throw on lights about the micronutrients effects.
Thank you, Manik sir and Dr. Aparna. You are really kind of raised this beginning of life nutrition right context, first 1,000 days. So to say they are 1,000 days, but they have impact on 1,000 years in human evolution and development. Because that generation we are producing and developing now is going to be the bedrock of the future generations. And how we grow them, how we produce them, how we let them achieve their developmental milestones are going to be the groundwork. So one more important thing that people usually count as a nutrition intervention is breastfeeding, and particularly exclusive for first 6 months. But if you go by the data, the benefits, the list of benefit which is mentioned under the benefit of breastfeeding are 9 out of 10 are basically health benefits. So largely breastfeeding is a health intervention has a highest impact on child mortality and morbidity in the first 6 months. And more frequently and more often child fall ill. It also compromises the nutritional status of the child. Like as a 5 kilo child, if you lose 500 gram weight in 3 days, it means 10% of the weight. Just imagine an adult body, if we lose 10% weight in 3 days, we will not be able to even walk, right? And that is a growing body. Fastest growing phase is like first 6 months, and 10% means a child is already fall behind 30 days in development. 30 days in 4 months means almost 20% backward movement of development. So this is how these first 1,000 days are crucial, and all interventions that enhance mother's nutritional status and child nutritional status, including hygiene and breastfeeding together, makes it really more impactful. But the story doesn't stop there at 1,000 days. Child is now 2-year-old and started eating things on its own, started having its own preferences for taste, food and everything. And of course exposed to the market, peers and the friends. And here comes another problem that we are facing now, and that's again is a double whammy. We last 50 years, India, I will limit my discussion to India only because we are sitting here in India, that malnutrition is seen, or largely seen as undernutrition basically. Because we are struggling to control or reduce stunting, wasting, anemia, all those conditions which were keeping our children behind the developmental goals. And meanwhile, the entry of this empty calories, which we know are coming from the foods which were otherwise very popular. We see children are consuming, they are making children fat, but depriving them of the micronutrients. And there's a new entity now emerging in communities are the children who are fat but deficient. And that makes it very difficult because our old programs, which we are running as of now, child nutrition program, whichever, to the poor child, to the deprived child, to the urban center, rural centers, are targeting undernourished child. But truly the malnutrition word, when we define malfunction, these things are completely haywire, actually is obese with deficient children, right? So if we recently, the studies, few studies are conducted by Government of India and few institutions, 3 to 9% children are preschool and primary school are obese basically. And 30 to 70% are anemic and deficient in key micronutrients like iron, folic acid, vitamin B12, vitamin D. These cause 3 type of problems. Because of vitamin D, they have weak bones. The weak bones with overweight. It's kind of, you see the cracked tire carrying a heavyweight vehicle on it, and the children are basically don't feel like kind of be active, and even if they become active, they get tired earlier because of weak bones. And above that, anemia reduces their ability and their vital capacity to carry oxygen. That makes them even more inert. So this is a vicious cycle. Obese child with weak bones and anemia is able to move less, and that in return makes it more obese and more deficient. At the same time, the food supply which we are providing is not very guarded by regulators yet. They are trying their best, but still they are not hard and harsh kind of regulations which can control it. and families are not aware. We are educating, in my 15 years of career, we have done thousands and thousands of education to the mothers about child feeding, proper feeding. ये खाना है, इतना खाना है, but the target was to rise the level. Here actually a level is here and one is here. We are yet to find right way to deal with them. How we control it? Because education is at one side we are treating with the undernutrition people, children, other side obese children. I think this is a new area where policy professionals, we all sitting here, industry particularly, need to work, because most of the products which are consumed by children and I call empty calories are industrially produced, not home produced. Right? The industry and regulators need to kind of up their ante to fix this problem and be responsible. And at the same time, the policy makers and the professional like us should actually start putting more emphasis on that when we come across any family member or any social platform where we raise this point that will be a big problem. An obese and deficient child is going to be even bigger problem than malnourished child who's undernourished, wasted or stunted. So this is how I see this problem is new, and we need to think afresh and put our hands together, industry, regulator, professionals, and society, to figure out how we fix it.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pankaj, and rightly told that malnutrition, India is one of the capitals, have been claimed as the capital for malnutrition, even though we have been developing in many areas. Apart from that, folic acids and ions in manganese and magnesium, which plays a major role in the neuron transmissions, that is also having a lot of deficiency in India, which is another sector where industry and professions has to take care. And apart from this, is how we are going to tackle with the new environmental things, which is changing every day, the lifestyle is changing, which gives a nutraceuticals part in the medicine, new medicine way. And just wants to have some throws on by Dr. Makesh Vengama.
Thank you. As we have spoken about the importance of nutritional nutraceuticals right from before the child is born and after he is born. I remember one, as a medical professional, we have Hippocrates, the father of medicine. He has a wonderful say. He used to say, let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. It clearly states the importance of food, and it very well suits what the nutraceutical states about. So when we are with the changing pattern of foods which we are taking in, like we have spoke about the empty calories. So this is how we are evolving as we are getting modernized and in the technologically evolved era with the changing in lifestyles. The food habits have changed, and so has we changed our eating habits and lifestyles. So to back up with that, we the medically professionally we have gone with nutraceuticals. So now we can tell our nutraceutical and the modern medicine, because it has with the changing lifestyles, it is always a supplement to have a nutraceuticals in our foods. And it has gone all the scientifically proven. We have multiple diseases which have scientifically proved when nutraceuticals are helping. Like for the omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3 fatty acids, they are very well established studies where they are giving benefits for CVS. It has shown almost 45% reduction in the sudden attacks, certain heart attacks, because of those who have taken the omega-3 fatty acids. As we have also known about the weak bones. If the people are having the vitamin C, vitamin D and the calcium supplements, the fractures has reduced by almost 30 to 40%. So the nutraceuticals are becoming more and more important because of the changing lifestyle, the foods which we are getting into, and the proven scientifically benefits of it. So definitely, I think there are challenges to the nutraceuticals across globally. We have different countries, different regulatory bodies having different regulations. So, but then definitely it will, as a modern medicine, we can look towards nutraceuticals.
True, because it's become an integral part now with the modern medicines. And as Dr. Sanjiv Gupte, just the lifestyle, how the lifestyles of India, and particularly now, we've been changing very drastically. And now this is going to give a solutions to accommodate that lifestyles, particularly in our country. That's
Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible. I'm trying to speak a little bit louder, but just a disclaimer, I was introduced here as an industry leader. Firstly, I'm not from the industry, I'm not a leader too. So on both accounts, I need to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Sachin, and I work for a not-for-profit, which is a global not-for-profit called PATH. And we work in 70 countries as we speak. And I'm a medical doctor with a training in public health, so I call myself as a public health servant than an industry leader. So that's a caveat for everybody to know. And then I'm going to talk a bit about what we as an organization, PATH, does purely from the nutritional solutioning and a healthy lifestyle. And my predecessors, I mean Aparna ji, Pankaj ji, and of course, Dr. Saab has spoken about a lot of stuff of supplementation and the importance of nutrition. But as we all know, that while that is absolutely important, but then comes in a space where fortification also plays a huge role.
yeah, definitely.
And PATH as an organization, we look at it as a multifaceted kind of approach, and we look at it as some kind of evidence-based approach that's available locally or globally, and then we kind of look at how exactly we need to address that. So first and foremost, we have a play at the levels of innovation, because PATH, as the name is, appropriate technology, and with the today's world of digital health and applications and softwares and technology, that's a very important aspect that we play with. We have some play with the policy level engagement with policymakers and the government, and of course we have a lot of engagement at the community level. So unless and until we have all these three pillars being addressed, I think if we don't, then we probably miss out on something that we want to do. So it's a multi-pronged approach. And when I talk about fortification, I would like to take you down the story of the recent development of rice fortification. And you will all quite remember and kind of recollect that 3 or 4 years back, the Prime Minister from the rampart of the Red Fort had suggested that we need to be introducing fortified rice into the systems where we as a country could be using rice with the fortified rice to kind of look at micronutrient deficiencies and especially anemia. So we look at fortified rice being fortified with iron, folic acid and B12, and that these are all the building blocks which Aparna ji mentioned about. For all the medical reasons, I'm not going to go back and, at the risk of repetition, I'm not going to do that. But I will talk more about the fortification part. So at PATH, we were working with our people who were supporting us, and the reason why we were working were how do we then scale up this whole ecology and the value chain from just being introducing fortified rice to a huge country like 1.4 billion, and maybe as we speak the clock is ticking. And we wanted to make sure that the value chain, the manufacturers, the distribution systems, the kind of supply chain systems, and of course the consumers over a period of time can have that. So our role was primarily from the technical support, look at quality aspect, bring in technology, and kind of provide the necessary knowledge at the local level to take it to the next level. So we work very closely with DOPD, FSSAI, very closely with the state government and the systems. So just to make sure that the micronutrient qualities are good, and because we need to make sure that what we claim is the product that reaches the end beneficiary. So we look at the value chains. We work with the private market suppliers and manufacturers to make sure that the manufacturing units and it's all as per the systems and the guidelines. We also look at the quality of the premixes. We have a application which is called Fortress, and it's a digital application which sits with the FSSAI application, where we are looking at end-to-end traceability, right from your premixes to the product that reaches the FCI warehouses. And then, as you might be aware, the fortified rice is being supplied to three vehicles. One is the public distribution system, so the rice which is available in PDS is all fortified rice. Second, we use the rice, fortified rice in the midday meals in the schools, and of course you use this as a take-home ration or kind of hot cooked meals in the ICDS. So the whole value chain is where our organization works very, very closely with the government. It's a very symbiotic kind of work. And I would like to say that when we started about 3 years back, and where we now are, I think we have data which suggests that we have reached out to more than 700 million people in the country with fortified rice and through the PDS systems. So this is about providing nutritional solutions to the right modalities, vehicles, and opportunities and platform to people. And this is also addressing the lifestyles, because very frankly, the micronutrient deficiencies, despite supplementation, when you can't have, you have to look at alternative mechanisms, how those could be supplied. And one of the ways could be, how do we supplement the diet with the necessary micronutrients? This is one of the solutions. While we do that at the value chain of manufacturing levels, we also have a lot of play with the community awareness. Wherever we go, we talk about the importance of fortified rice. Other parties, we also look at the labeling part, which is quite up and visible to the people. And then if there are myths and misconceptions around that, we look at it. We also kind of work with the government on Eat Right campaigns or Eat Right India campaigns that happen. So it allows the people to actually make informed choices and healthy choices on what they need to consume, which kind of ensures your healthy lifestyle, as sir was mentioning. And then of course we have Anemia Mukt Bharat campaigns, where we try and look at addressing it through the fortification part, the right choices of food, and then of course the supplementation that happens to the health system as well. So all in all, that's the value chain that I wanted to take you through the journey, and of course what path as an organization and the organization that I represent. So this is the work we do, and I hope any questions on this, any kind of additional stuff that you would want to know, more than happy to have that or a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, because how government is moving forwards towards reduce the malnutrition, so the fortifications. And thanks, you have been told that we have been 700 million people have been reached with the fortifications. Thanks, Dr. Pankaj, for the Sachin for the same. And all things to meet out this all nutritions and other things, industry is focused. So I request Narendra to focus on how industries have been supporting these changes, environmental and nutritional aspects on the nutrition. Please.
थैंक यू मनी सर। आजकल हम लोग देख रहे हैं कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर फूड इंडस्ट्री को कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है। बेसिकली आई बिलोंग्स टू अ फूड आई एम प्रोमोटर ऑफ हेल्दी फूड ब्रांड। सो मैं क्लोजली लोगों के बिहेवियर को बहुत करीबी से देख रहा हूँ, लोगों के बिहेवियर को हेल्दी चॉइसेस को लेके। आजकल हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि लोगों का हेल्दी फूड को लेके, अपनी न्यूट्रिशन नीड को लेके लोगों में अवेयरनेस आया है। इनफैक्ट कोविड के बाद इन सब चीज़ों को लेके जब लोगों के साथ मेडिकल इमरजेंसीज आनी शुरू हुई, तो लोग इस चीज़ को लेके ज़्यादा अवेयर हुए हैं। तो इसका फूड इंडस्ट्री पे क्या इम्पैक्ट जा रहा है? सो बेसिकली चीज़ें कैसे वर्कआउट कर रही हैं। लोग जब मेडिकल इमरजेंसीज कुछ आनी शुरू हुई, तो लोगों ने अपने डाइट को लेके, अपने न्यूट्रिशनल नीड को लेके जागरूक होना शुरू किया। एंड इसके बाद क्या हुआ कि जब ये जो हेल्थ पैरामीटर के साथ में लोगों ने अपनी चॉइसेस को चेंज किया, लाइफस्टाइल डिजीज़ जो लोगों के साथ आकर होनी हुई, उससे लोगों ने उससे प्रिवेंटिव तौर पर कुछ डिसीजंस लेने शुरू किए, जैसे कि आज की डेट में फूड इंडस्ट्रीज को लोगों की हैबिट्स कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर रही हैं। जैसे पहले हेल्दी ईटिंग लोगों ने अडॉप्ट करना शुरू किया। हेल्दी ईटिंग में जैसे आज से आई थिंक 5-6 साल पहले लोग नहीं फ़र्क पड़ता था लोगों को कि क्या खा रहे हैं, क्या पी रहे हैं, या इन सब चीज़ों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा अवेयर नहीं थे। लेकिन आजकल हम लोग अपने इंडस्ट्री में देखते हैं, लोग आते हैं, लोग हाई शुगर से अब लो शुगर पे जा रहे हैं। इनफैक्ट लोग नो शुगर पे भी मूव कर रहे हैं। लोग पहले फैट का ध्यान नहीं रखते थे, अब लोग जब भी फूड इंग्रेडिएंट्स की बात आती है तो लोग लो फैट पर मूव कर रहे हैं। इनफैक्ट पहले हम लोग रिफाइंड ऑयल यूज़ करते थे। धीरे धीरे लोगों को ये चीज़ समझ में आई है कि रिफाइंड ऑयल से लोग कोल्ड प्रेस ऑयल पे यूज़ कर गए। हमारे डे टू डे लाइफ में हम लोग देखते थे लोग रिफाइंड फ्लोर का यूज़ कर रहे हैं। धीरे धीरे ये कंज्यूमर शिफ्टिंग टुवर्ड्स मिलेट फूड, राइट। एंड इसके बाद हेल्दी फूड ईटिंग्स में चेंजेस के बाद लोगों ने क्लीन ईटिंग को भी अपने कॉन्सेप्ट अपने लाइफस्टाइल में ऐड करना शुरू किया। क्लीन ईटिंग का मतलब है जैसे कि लोग आजकल प्रोसेस फूड की बजाय ऑर्गेनिक फूड पे ज़्यादा प्रेफर कर रहे हैं। नॉन जीएमओ फूड्स एंड इनफैक्ट जो जेनेटिक मॉडिफाइड फूड हैं लोग अवॉइड कर रहे हैं, मिनिमाइज कर रहे हैं अपने डाइट में। तो लोग जनरली ऑर्गेनिक फूड की तरफ जा रहे हैं। एंड इनफैक्ट क्लीन लेबलिंग से मतलब है लोग इस बात को लेके भी जागरूक हो गए हैं कि जो खाना मेरे सामने आ रहा है, जो फूड मेरे सामने सर्व किया जा रहा है, उसमें कौन कौन से इंग्रेडिएंट हैं, कौन कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो मेरी हेल्थ को क्या उससे इम्पैक्ट करेगा, अच्छा है या बुरा है, लोग इसको लेके भी जा रहे हैं। देन एक फंक्शनल फूड का कॉन्सेप्ट आता है। फंक्शनल फूड इज बेसिकली लाइक जो आपके लाइफस्टाइल में जो आप बेसिक डाइट ले रहे हो उससे जो न्यूट्रिशन फुलफिल पूरा नहीं हो पा रहा है। फंक्शनल फूड आपकी लाइफस्टाइल में वो सारे के सारे पैरामीटर जो एडिशनल न्यूट्रिशन की आपकी बॉडी की रिक्वायरमेंट है वो फंक्शनल फूड वो सारे चीज़ आपको प्रोवाइड करते हैं। तो फंक्शनल फूड का डिमांड मार्केट में तेज़ी से इंक्रीज हो रहा है। बेसिकली फंक्शनल फूड जैसे प्रीबायोटिक्स, प्रोबायोटिक्स, लोग ओमेगा 3 के लिए फिश कैप्सूल ले रहे हैं, चिया सीड्स का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल्स का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। देन इसके बाद चीज़ें अभी करंट में फूड ट्रेंड में चल रहा है, लोग होल फूड और ऑर्गेनिक फूड पर शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं। होल फूड ऑर्गेनिक फूड से मतलब है लोग धीरे धीरे इस चीज़ को लेके समझ रहे हैं कि हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट से अगर मैं जो भी आज की डे टू डे लाइफ में जो मैं कंज्यूम कर रहा हूँ, जो मेरी फैमिली कंज्यूम कर रही है, उसमें जो इंग्रेडिएंट हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं उसका इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है। लोग आजकल ट्रेंड देखा जा रहा है ऑर्गेनिक जो कंपनीज ऑर्गेनिक फूड प्रोड्यूस कर रही हैं, जो ऑर्गेनिक जो होल फूड में डील कर रही हैं, उनका मार्केट शेयर अभी रिसेंटली आफ्टर कोविड काफ़ी तेज़ी से इंक्रीज हुआ है। इनफैक्ट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट फ्यूचर एस्पेक्ट्स, फूड इंडस्ट्री में कैसे कैसे चेंजेस, क्या क्या चीज़ें लोगों के बिहेवियर से क्या क्या चीज़ें फ्यूचर में इम्पैक्ट करेंगी। जैसे कि इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट AI टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन फूड फॉर्मुलेशंस, तो फ्यूचर में ये भी चांसेस हैं कि आजकल हमारी लाइफ में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इज़ अ इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ। तो धीरे धीरे करके AI के तौर पर लोग आज टाइम ऐसा आएगा जब हमारे सिस्टम, हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी, हमारे जो बिग डेटा रिसर्च है, जो हमारी फूड चॉइसेस को हमें बताएंगी कि आपको क्या लेना चाहिए, आपकी बॉडी के अकॉर्डिंग, आपके न्यूट्रिशन के अकॉर्डिंग, आपको आपकी बॉडी के लिए क्या नीड है। तो ये फ्यूचर में ऐसा भी कॉन्सेप्ट आएगा डेफिनेटली, जहाँ पर हमारी everybody has different metabolism, everybody has different body, and definitely it may be आपकी different requirements भी होंगी न्यूट्रिशन से रिलेटेड। तो AI इस चीज़ को फ्यूचर में जो कंपनी जिस पे काम कर रही है डेफिनेटली कि आपकी बॉडी के लिए, आपकी मेडिकल कंडीशंस के हिसाब से, आपको फिट रहने के लिए आपको कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ें चाहिए, आपके हिसाब से आपका फूड बनाया जाएगा। डेफिनेटली टेक्नोलॉजी इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले करेगी। एंड सेकेंड वन इज़ फ्यूचर के हिसाब से हम लोग जो देख रहे हैं दैट इज़ नोवल न्यूट्रिशन ट्रेंड्स। एंड हम लोगों ने देखा है बेसिकली नोवल न्यूट्रिशन ट्रेंड्स मीन्स रिसेंटली कोविड के बाद से हमने देखा यंगस्टर्स में कुछ फिटनेस इश्यूज़ आ रहे हैं। इनफैक्ट इंडिया को डायबिटीज़ कैपिटल कहा जाता है। ये सब लाइफस्टाइल डिजीज़ जो आ रही हैं, इनको मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि इनको ख़त्म किया जा सकता है, बट एक न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल्स और एक न्यूट्रिशनल फूड से इनको प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता है। बेसिकली हम लोग देखते हैं ओमेगा 3 कैप्सूल से हमारा हार्ट हेल्थ, ओमेगा 3 हम जिस भी सप्लीमेंट से ले सकते हैं, फिश ऑयल है, चिया सीड्स हैं, एंड मेनी मोर थिंग्स। मार्केट में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जिससे हमारा ओमेगा 3 हमारे हार्ट हेल्थ को हेल्प करता है। प्रीबायोटिक्स प्रोबायोटिक्स कंपनीज हैं जो ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स दे रही हैं जो आप फर्मेंटेड फूड यूज़ करते हैं, जैसे जो हमारी गट हेल्थ को इम्प्रूव करता है। एंड बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो हमारे ब्लड प्रेशर ब्लड जैसे हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं, मेथी दाना यूज़ करते हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिन आंवला यूज़ करते हैं जो हमारे ये सारे फूड ऐसे हैं जो हमारे ब्लड प्रेशर ब्लड शुगर को मेंटेन करके रखता है। एंड इसके बाद चीज़ें आती हैं रेगुलेटरी अफेयर्स। एंड डेफिनेटली आई एम रेगुलरली पिछले 5-6 साल से मैं फूड इंडस्ट्री में हूँ। मैंने गवर्नमेंट में FSSAI की तरफ से बहुत सारे चेंजेस होते देख रहे हैं और फ्यूचर में गवर्नमेंट इस चीज़ को लेके बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट हो रही है कि एक्चुअल में जो चीज़ें चल रही हैं, गवर्नमेंट ये देख रही है कि आप जो मार्केट में फूड आप प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो, जो आप कंज्यूमर को सप्लाई कर रहे हो, गवर्नमेंट उस पर बड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट होकर देख रही है कि आप जो प्रिजर्वेटिव यूज़ कर रहे हो वो आप मेंशन करो, जो आप फैट यूज़ कर रहे हो वो आप मेंशन करो, जो आप ऑयल यूज़ कर रहे हो वो मेंशन करो, जो आप शुगर जिस टाइप का यूज़ कर रहे हो कितना यूज़ करो, ये सारी चीज़ें, ताकि कंज्यूमर को इस चीज़ का पता लगे कि मेरा फूड मेरे लिए कितना हेल्दी है। इस चीज़ को लेकर गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेशंस बना रही है और फ्यूचर में इसको लेकर बहुत सारे ऐसे रेगुलेशंस आने वाले हैं ताकि फूड इंडस्ट्री को एक क्लीन एनवायरनमेंट, एक क्लीन ईटिंग, एक हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट हम लोग कंज्यूमर को दे सकें। एंड इसके बाद आता है न्यू डिलीवरी मॉडल्स। एंड रिसेंटली हम लोगों ने देखा भी इस चीज़ को, आज से 5 साल पहले मुझे नहीं लगता था कि हम लोग सोचते थे कि 10 मिनट में हमारे यहाँ ग्रॉसरी डिलीवर हो जाएगा, लेकिन 2 साल पहले टेक्नोलॉजी और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड डेटा की हेल्प से क्या हुआ कि 10 मिनट में हमारे यहाँ ग्रॉसरी डिलीवर होने लगे। जैप्टो ब्लिंकिट ये कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी। तो एक डिलीवरी मॉडल एक ऐसा आया, आने वाले टाइम में डिलीवरी मॉडल्स क्या कर रहे हैं, डिलीवरी मॉडल्स ये डिलीवरी मॉडल्स आने वाले टाइम में ऐसा भी होगा कि जो हम जनरली हम लोग जो अपने डाइट में ऑर्गेनिक फूड फ्रेश फूड हम लोग अपने डाइट में ऐड करना चाहते हैं, बट हमेशा हमें इस चीज़ को लेकर डाउट रहता है कि मिलेगा कहाँ पर, कैसे मिलेगा। तो कुछ कंपनीज़ हैं टेक्नोलॉजी की हेल्प से ये कंपनी ये सब चीज़ों को सॉल्व कर रही है। प्रीवियसली आज से 5 साल 6 साल पहले ऑनलाइन मेडिसिन नहीं मिलती थी। आजकल आप अपोलो का ऐड देखेंगे, अपोलो में लिखा रहता 19 मिनट डिलीवरी। जैप्टो ब्लिंकिट इज सेइंग 3 से 4 मिनट में आप क्या डिलीवर कर रहे हैं। तो जो कंपनी ये लॉजिस्टिक्स कंपनी और जो इंडस्ट्रियल कंपनी जो इस सेगमेंट में है, जो इस डिलीवरी और टेक्नोलॉजी की हेल्प से डेफिनेटली एक टाइम ऐसा भी आएगा कि हमारी जो नीड्स हैं, हमारी जो बॉडी के अकॉर्डिंग हमारी न्यूट्रिशनल नीड है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग ये इंडस्ट्री बहुत तेज़ी से चेंज होगी। जैसे कि आप समझना सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल फूड में, लोग जनरली जोमेटो स्विगी से फूड ऑर्डर करते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट अबाउट कि ये मेरी बॉडी के लिए कितना हेल्पफुल है, क्या है, कैसे है। बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड डिलीवरी मॉडल डेफिनेटली आप देखना अपना जोमेटो का जब भी आप पेज खोलेंगे, आप देखना सबके पेज पर डिफरेंट चॉइसेस आएंगे। It is depend on.
Yes, certainly I understood that we have been into the delivery of the things. You have told about that AI is going to impact a lot, and definitely there are new modulations as speculations is coming. And I thank that you have been covered what all the struggles the food industries is to survive in this thing, because the day to day the changes are happening it out. This is a very wide range of subjects, and you have given beautiful inputs on that. And India is going to be there is the biggest populations as we are have know that the ratio between the young and age is now it's slowly it is been going towards aging peoples, and definitely India has to consider how we are going to make them to be more nutritious, more healthier and better, because they are experienced people in all these terms. And how this nutrition is going to help for the age peoples, and how we are going to take towards the next generations to take care of them, that I request Kriti to spell out on that, how we can move forward on that, because India is moving a very important stages where the young and aging ratios are becoming more.
Yeah, so thank you so much. So I would like to really thank all the speakers on the dais and the organizers of the conference to give us the opportunity to speak on very relevant topics. So if you have noticed that we have covered the full cycle, like the entire cycle of life. There's a very popular poem of Shakespeare, which is 7 Ages, and it refers to age, old age as a second childhood. So we started with how nutrition is important for the kids and growing babies.
Similarly, it is very important when, you start declining in your health status. So, unfortunately, it has started happening very early now. So we call like the India, India is being called the diabetes capital. We are very big in terms of liver diseases today. We are also very, very big in hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, as well as, thyroid disorders. So there is no dearth of problems or lifestyle disorders that are prevailing in the society as of now. But taking supplements or being very, very cognizant of what has to be taken and start at the right time is very, very important. So I will break it into, two parts, like how aging happens. So we feel that, it's very normal to start showing signs of graying in the hair or wrinkles or something which is very physical. But it starts very early when the damage starts happening from within. So those damages are the first is the oxidative stress, which happens to all of us on a daily basis because of our lifestyle, the working habits, the kind of, stress we have around us, be it environmental or work or, body stress that happens because of the environment. So that is one. The other is the mitochondrial or say DNA aging, which is happening very fast now because there is a stress on the telomeres. So telomere length, which is our DNA, it starts shrinking, because of which we start showing the signs of aging. When we go to cities like, many other South Asian cities or South Korea or Singapore, we see that their physical appearances are way better because of the consumption patterns that they have, because of the awareness of the antioxidants or phytoactives, which are very, very helpful in anti-aging. We see, in Indian market also a lot of brands coming up in the anti-aging supplement segment. So to start with, it's very important that you have a right mix of the multivitamins. So all the microelements are very, very important in functioning of it. We see sleep disorders happening very, very, early these days. That is because of magnesium imbalance and a lot of microelements which are playing a role over there. Fortunately, there are ingredients which the herbal segment has, which also fall under the nutraceutical space, but a lot of them are still not indexed. Like for example, spermidine is there, which has come up in a big way. NMN, which is a mononucleotide, is a DNA-based molecule which repairs the DNA and decelerates the aging. But apart from that, vitamin C, resveratrol, antioxidants like vitamin E, they play a major role in protecting the cells from oxidative damage, along with omega-3, all the omegas together. So that is very, very important that your diet should have all of that. And along with that, there are a lot of ingredients like ginseng, ashwagandha, which really repair the DNA. There is astragalus, which specifically works on DNA aging. So if you actually choose the ingredients which work on the cellular mechanisms of aging, you can actually delay the senescence process and give your body the right nutrition. So again, like I said, that old age is a second childhood. So and of course that is extreme old age. But if you are cognizant of what you are eating from the, from say your late 50s or 40s, then this process or the extreme age, old age becomes a little easier. Because, the damage has to happen. That damage is happening. We all have come across data like after 30, your skin starts losing collagen, your bone starts losing your calcium at a very fast rate. In women, it is even faster because of menopause, the hormonal balance. So that imbalance starts happening. But if you are actively thinking about it and what your body needs, like fortunately we have diagnostic markers which tell you that you are deficient in these many minerals and multivitamins, you can start those supplements very, very effectively. And I would say rampant use or not knowing and then using something is very, very harmful, because you end up having overdosages or not appropriate dosages, which of course is not going to help. Like we understand today that our population is highly deficient in vitamin D and B12. But if you keep on taking it without getting the diagnostics done, then you might not know how much to take and when to stop, which is also very, very important. So the dosage, the regime, everything plays out in a certain way to make it happen, and then your body starts showing healthy signs. So again, these herbs that I mentioned, of course, there is a lot of detail on it because every phytoactive is playing a role, how they're working at a cellular level or at mitochondrial level to prevent aging. That is, of course, a lot of detail. Even like if I go to the cognitive part of it, because cognition is a very, very important part of the entire aging process. So there, of course, DHA supplements, omegas are there. But apart from that, centella, Brahmi, centella, and a lot of such ingredients are available which help you preserve the cognitive benefit. Bacopa plays a very important role. Ginkgo is there, which is basically not only works on the focus, also improves the cognition. That is something that, after a certain point, we all face a brain fog sometimes, which is not, generally happening because of aging. It is, of course, because of the lot of stress that is happening. So those herbs or those ingredients really help to supplement you, to help you manage those issues. So yeah, on and all, I think that is it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Actually, the cell's growth and decays is a real cause for the interior cause for the damages, and that is going to be interrelated with the DNA. And rightly told by her, it is very clear that calcium is a banking actually for everyone. It has to be stored in our body before 23 years old. After that, it is just from the banking, it is usually keeping. So that's why the childhood, which has been told earlier, is becoming a very important nutritional factor. And without, see, if there is a vitamin D deficiency, means then the calcium will not be absorbed. It is a dual, it is like a siblings. It has to take in your exact path and where it has to be adjusted by the physicians to take, and beautifully addressed. Thanks. And I mean, we have been talking about this. What is the market for this? And whether how the market is going on. And about that, Dr. Magesh can give some views on that markets, how it can be.
Actually, I'm not the right person to speak about it, but I can just brief it. I mean, globally we can see it's the nutraceutical market is like almost $400 billion, and India is, if you see, as part of India is concerned, the pharmaceuticals, we export almost $16 billion of pharmaceutical every year. And when we speak about Nutra, it's almost nearing to $16 billion we are exporting it in the recent years. So it's a huge potential. And it's only 2% of the global market which we have in India right now. See, the US, Europe, and the Japan, they are the leaders in nutraceuticals. And India is just 2%, and then even in that too, we are exporting $16 billion. So I think it's a huge potential, and with the changing population, only one limitation which we have in India, we have a huge population. Now we have one of the world's biggest or the largest populated country in the world. The nutraceutical penetration, the limitation is it's more, I suppose it's more restricted towards the urban and the more aware people. The rural area, which almost 60 or 70% of India stays, that has been not reached to. So with time, I think we have a lot of potential, and Nutra is definitely the new buzz competing with the pharmaceuticals.
Yes, doctor, actually I go to, because you know the database, because you have been in the controlling regulatory affairs, you know how much it has been penetrated. Rightly told that rural areas has yet to be touched, and that is the area where it has to be moved forward, Dr. And I can, with this actually India is having a lot of natural things. And if you go back to our traditions, we have been advised to take a lot of natural things. But this is all depend upon the bioactiveness. This how the bioactiveness is going to be differentiate between the plant and animals, and we have to understood on that. I think that Aparna ji can give how it is differentiated, how it is essential to us.
Yeah, so as we talked about a lot on the nutrition side, so we always get these nutrients and so to say the bioactive nutrients from the plant and the animal sources. To name a few, so we always consume soya bean or soy protein. So it is the bioactive component, if I have to name it, is the isoflavones, which plays a very important role, helps in the estrogen levels balance, and that's why a lot of studies being done in case of postmenopausal women, in osteoporosis also, in control of cholesterol levels. So these isoflavones are basically helping in controlling all these health conditions. Similarly, we can get from the green tea, it is the catechins, which is the bioactive ingredient, which is helping in getting you those effects on your increase in the basal metabolic rate, or in helping in burning that excess body fat. So these kinds of studies being done, checking the bioactive components present in the particular food items. Similarly, if I have to name the plant source like tomatoes, so we get lycopene, which is again an antioxidant, has got a lot of data on how this helps in building up immunity. So lycopene is the bioactive component which we get from the plant sources. We get the omega-3s, the DHAs from your flax seeds. Again, these extracted from the plant source, and then we provide these bioactive ingredient in the nutraceutical so as to get those particular health benefits, whether it is related to omega-3 or related to DHA or related to EPA. If I have to name few animal sources like fish oil, so we can get the DHAs from the fish oil, the whey and the casein, which the protein sources basically, again extracted from your animal source. Your polyphenols, which we normally get from avocados. Again, these all have the health benefits, and it is being studied as the bioactive ingredient having that specific role in getting those health-related claims, so to say, that this is going to help in making the cholesterol levels, the bad cholesterol levels lowered, or maybe related to the immunity. So these bioactive components have specific roles, and we are getting all those ingredients from the plant or the animal sources. The list is huge, so I have just named few.
Yeah, because yes, absolutely. Because both there is a big differences. The people will always say we have to go for plant or we have to go for animals.
Yes.
But actually, it is a combination. As you rightly told, it is a combination. Thanks for giving that insights. And Dr. Pankaj, how we have to, Pankaj Verma ji, how we have to balance the sustainable nutritional balance to weight to make our life to be a smoother, right from childhood to age.
I think this is the topic of a trend. I think if you do Google, the most trending topic of last decade is the weight management, right? Everyone is talked about, and a recorded history, I think I have not seen something so popular and so unsuccessful together, right? We hear about it from everyone, and we hear also at the same time the failure stories. And that makes it real crucial. So I just, before I go into technicalities, I just take you the journey of how ultimately this become a problem.
Okay.
Historically, this weight issue was otherwise known as a kind of underweight issue. Weight loss was a traditionally, historically seen the most ancient, most prominent sign of illness or deteriorating health. Right? That was the only way people used to identify a person's health, deteriorating weight is lost. Right? And it was always a concern unless we achieved the 20th century. Weight loss was the only concern when it comes to body weight. But what turned suddenly in the century? What turned century is that if we see the energy economics of our body survived through the millennia, basically the negative energy balance. We spent more energy to earn energy. Like in a day, a manual farming, which was traditional way of doing farming or hunting, you had to spend more calories to earn the calorie that you consume thereafter, right? So our body was basically adapted to energy deficient environments since the beginning of humanity. And suddenly in last century, because of mechanization and economic growth, right, our body energy consumption reduced drastically. And our energy earning potential increased tremendously, like million times. Like we had to spend only just less than few minutes earning to buy our food, right? So that is basically mechanical and the economic development happened so fast, but body physiology is not something that changed so fast. And most of the evolution we see, it takes generations to change and adapt, right? And that is where the body is still kind of living in the stage of storing energy when there is excess. But excess is there now all around. Of course, there are still equity problems. There are people still deprived of food, hunger. That's another political and economic issue of distribution. But at large, per se, the population is now energy abundant. And that abundance is basically being stored in our body, as body is trained to store it. So what happens? Typically, when the demand is already kind of craving for energy, and whatever supply is there, it immediately gets consumed. The hormones or the body physiology which has to work to push energy in the cells need to work very less. Like beta cell has to produce very less insulin to actually help glucose enter the cell, because the cell is already demanding it. You don't have to push it. Doors are open, right? But now it is abundant. Now insulin has to push it hard, and cell is closing the door. After a struggle of many years of that struggle, ultimately doors get tightened. They get jammed, and we call it insulin resistance, right? And then the glucose start retaining in our blood. Nothing happens. It starts going into our adipose tissue. We become obese. We become overweight. So there starts the vicious cycle of problem, because the fat tissue that get deposited is not inert tissue. It's not like a dry wood. It's metabolically active. It works by two mechanisms to impede our health. First, they themselves release many biologically active molecules, and they disturb our many biological function and causes health problem. Second, they alter body signal system, because at one side, the body is getting two-side signal. One signal is hunger to eat food, that is our circadian rhythm. Another, the signal is, the fat is saying, yes, I'm already there, you don't need to. The signals get confused. Kahan jana hai? Because that confused signal system is yet to get sorted, and we are living in a really kind of a chaos of neurological, behavioral, psychological signals. We are not able to find what way, and body is getting more and more. So this is, I mean, more a historical aspect, I tell you, why we are here actually, what we are facing as of now. Now, challenge comes, and I tell you, this is a subject, there is no definitive answer, because everyone sitting here and anywhere in the world has tried something to manage weight and failed often, right? So I cannot tell you that this is a perfect way, but when it comes to weight management, there are two areas of intervention. One is nutrition, one is physical activity. So numerically, it is more easy to control intake than control consumption, because consumption you have to work hard, maybe for hours to kind of consume some significant amount of energy. But when it comes to intake, it just have to kind of cut down your plate size, and you cut down your intake size, and you just do it. But that is easier said than done. We know it. So when it comes to intake side, as I said, the excess of energy is a problem. But what happens that will also be discussed in the child obesity. When we reduce portion size, we reduce everything, because it's not only calorie with food. Food is carrier of all the nutrients that we need. So there is not kind of cut the portion size. It is actually redesign the plate, right? Where what we need should be adequate, or sometimes maybe in little excess, because some of the nutrients do have the functional food benefits, right? And some of the things that we know that can add to our weight need to be reduced below the requirement level, so that there is a kind of negative energy cycle sets in. At the same time, driving the behavior issue. That is the most difficult part, right? Because our food cravings, our culture, Food is a culture basically. That's where we made mistake. Now we made food and clothes become our culture. What we eat as a culture is close to our heart. No, ये तो हमें खाना ही खाना, ये तो हमें नहीं खाना. No matter what you say, what is wrong, what is right, but what we see is a part of our culture, we have to do it. So food is a culture. The second part, what I say, behavior change, practices change, and behavioral and then psychological part is very difficult to challenge. Even if I told, all of us know that this is what energy is the problem and we need to just kind of replace high energy food with a low energy food and high nutrient density foods. Very, I mean, in 2 lines I have concluded all the story, but actually that doesn't happen. Then comes the physical activity. Physical activity per se, as I say, are not of great contribution numerically in terms of burning or using calories, but they itself has a 3 or 4 major impact. First, they overall increase our basal metabolic rate, right? So at least even when sleeping, we a little bit burn more calories, even we don't do anything if we continue doing it. And second, physical activities are basically anti-appetite also. They reduce appetite. You feel less like eating, right? Second, if you do it continuously, our mind is more a kind of discipline freak when it is imposed. We start enjoying it. The discipline that sets in because of regularly doing physical activity brings lot of other psychological and behavioral change which motivates us and also kind of help us follow other good practices too. Because discipline become our basically behavior. So this is how physical activity, behavioral part and the nutritional part works. So this is kind of something already known. I told you, histories I explained. Now it comes to, in today's world, what we as a community of profession, regulators, industry, right, and society and family per se. These are few entities that all are responsible for the problem and ultimately for the solution too. So at the same time, the kind of food being sold and provided in market and to the household, regulators and industry has to work together. So that the food choices get not only kind of controlled by the peers and negatively by the market, but by informed and regulated choices. Third, family practices from the very beginning, like we start in early life problem, child obesity. Why it is there? Because the problem actually starts happening from there itself. The consumption of empty calories, obesity at early age, and the child who's obese at early age, who's physically already less active because of the weaker bone and the low hemoglobin level, is almost in almost all cases going to be the obese adult. Yes. And early problem that also out of context discussion we had during our pre-session that now we see often, and I get a lot of questions. Why people having heart attack running on treadmill and doing gym in their 20s and 30s, right? So the answer is, I mean, not very clear, but one factor which is known, I can tell you, is the plaque is there. Cholesterol plaque is already there, right? So it is like sitting like a hump in the artery, blood is flowing over it, it's okay. But the moment we trouble our heart beyond a limit, it ruptures and suddenly blocks the artery. And that leads to certain cardiac arrest. But why that plaque is there in the person who's in 20s or 30s, which otherwise we believe should not be there, that comes from the childhood stage, it started forming. If plaque started forming at like teenage, by the time we complete 20s or early 30s, it is good enough size to cause risk of rupture and sudden cardiac arrest.
Yes, it's beautiful, sir. And it has been very widely, one is self-control and physiological control. Both it leads to the this sustainable health styles. And basically we all know that, and rightly told by Kriti, she has told very clearly that antioxidant, and it is going to be a free radical. How this free radical research is working on our part and technologies, this improvement is happening in the, give us a good health nutraceuticals as well as nutritional aspects in our style.
Yeah, so antioxidants basically, oxidative stress is all the time in the body. So antioxidants in the form of EGCG, lycopene, all vitamin E or vitamin C, vitamin A, whatever we consume, all these are antioxidants which go into the body and scavenge these free radicals and prevent the damage from happening. But unfortunately what happens is that these molecules, these phytoactives are highly unstable. When you consume a particular ingredient in the form of, like lycopene comes from tomatoes, but the way we cook tomatoes, most of the times, all the lycopene gets destroyed. Curcumin, an excellent anti-inflammatory, very good antioxidant, but the way we make our, the curries at home, the benefit of curcuminoids goes away. So it's very important that we may, either consume the food in the right way, like, sir very rightly said that food is thy medicine. If you consume it properly in a right dosage and in a right manner, the cooking styles have to be very right. But if you're not doing that, then, you're not getting anything out of it. It's just the taste that you get. So that is why nutraceuticals or the phytopharmaceuticals have come into the play, wherein these phytoactives have been captured in such a way that the benefits are maintained and they are not destroyed. Because sometimes what happens is that the way you store these ingredients also leads to deterioration. When we do development of products, we do a lot of forced degradation studies. So what do forced degradation studies mean? That when the product is kept on the shelf, whether the temperature is like the winters that we have right now or it is summers, the product should retain its efficacy. The over edges are added for the vitamins and phytoactives sometimes to maintain that kind of claim, label claim throughout the entire shelf life. So we see that, tablets and capsules are either 2 years of expiry and some of the nutraceuticals are 18 months and so on. So that has to be very rationally designed, and the excipients that go into the product should maintain that integrity or the, the quality of the ingredients throughout the shelf life. So fortunately, there are technologies like liposomal delivery, nanoparticle delivery, wherein these phytoactives can be encased into a matrix system or a liposomal cavity, wherein they will be secure from the damage. Like, they prevent damage inside our body, but they are themselves very labile. So we need to protect them also before they enter into the body. So if they enter the body and they are already destroyed, then they are not going to give you any benefit. So it is important that these technology platforms come into play. You either, you might have heard a lot of stress on nanoparticles and liposomal kind of deliveries, wherein phospholipid layers are added to the product which maintain the stability of those ingredients for the shelf life, for the entire shelf life. So those are very, very important in giving the stability to the ingredient as well as give bioavailability to them. So any of these ingredients you pick up, like, we have traditionally heard that curcumin has to be taken with milk or a lipid-based carrier because the bioavailability is more in that. So different actives have different kinds of bioavailability based on the carrier that they are taken with. So those carriers, when they are incorporated into a technology platform, they ensure that they are bioavailable in the system. They are absorbed in the system more. So if I am taking 500 mg of paracetamol, but I am only, the rest of it is getting biodistributed in the body, but the benefit is coming out of only 100 mg because the rest of it got wasted in the body. Because of metabolism and ADME principle, so because of liver first pass metabolism. So then, it becomes very, very important to surpass that first pass metabolism, wherein liver is actually metabolizing the rest of the phytoactive and the blood is getting only a small amount of it. That is how bioavailability is enhanced, and there are various technologies, not just what I just mentioned. There is exosome, there is mode of delivery, like the buccal delivery, you can actually give something through the mouth only because mouth has a lot of blood vessels, so it will reach directly into the circulation. So by modulating on the kind of delivery platform that you are giving and the kind of technology that you are incorporating with the ingredient, it will lead to a better efficacy overall and a better shelf life. So because the alarm has rung, so I'll summarize it.
I just add,
please.
Technology has given new formats as well for nutraceutical industry. So very rightly said, now the sprays are available, the melts are available. So it's not just the powder supplement anymore, it's newer formats which ensures that the bioavailability of that particular bioactive component is on a higher side. So whether it is iron or DHA or probiotics, it ensures that it reaches the right site of your gut and getting 100% absorbed.
Let's collect the selective target of the which we have to get treated. And unfortunately, this technology has been used. We all know that cool lip. That is what unfortunate things. And the panel has covered right from childhood to the aging and the technology and fortifications, everything. I just give to some few questions from audience to the expert panel members can address on that. Please, welcome.
I think
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for this wonderful panel here. A big round of applause to all the panel members. And thank you, Dr. Manickavasagam, for wonderfully moderating this session of experts here. We are a little short on time, but I think maybe we can take one quick question. Of course, the expert panel members are available after the session. So if you have more questions, please take it to them. Any questions from the floor? Yeah, can we have a mic for Sir, please? Sir, kindly do introduce yourself and your organization and which particular panel member the question.
Yeah, my name is Sanjay Pandey. I am dairy and food professional. This introduction is enough, I think. Yesterday, I talked to people as a panelist. My question is to Dr. Mahesh. You kind of commented one-liner that nutraceuticals are like modern medicines. From here, like going into the future, how do you see that, how is nutraceuticals going to be positioned, whether as medicine or as drug or pharma, because this is a big question for the food professionals. Like we say that we cannot claim any health related benefits, like still in the nutraceutical category. And in this panel also we discussed that certain heart related diseases or other deficiency related diseases, they are cured to this. We kind of vindicated it and we gave certain facts and figures. So how do you see the positioning? Because if you regulators can talk about it, why food processors cannot claim and mention it on their products?
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Dr. Wagmare.
That was the question I was afraid of. Basically, when I speak about medicine, modern medicine, I don't mean it's a technically I have accepted it as the modern medicine. When it comes to the practically or a regulatory aspect, it's a bigger decision the government takes on it. As we all know, as a food industries and as a regulator or as a general people as well, nutraceutical was earlier part of. It was considered under the drug. Recently, we have moved from drug to food. As we transit from drug to food, some are happy, some are not, because it has all pros and cons to it. The food industry is happy because the regulation has come down, the stringentness has come down. But as I told, with the increasing the lifestyles and all those things, even if it remains under food, if we won't be calling it as a drug, but then definitely as a regulator or from a government setup or even as a consumer, we think we should be going to a stricter norms to it, and that way we should take. That's what I can answer right now, because it's not, it's a policy decision whether it will be considered under a drug or it will be considered under a food, and how the regulators will act on it. But I think it will be better for us as well, both as an industry, as a consumer, and as a regulator. It will be, we should take in that spirit, I suppose.
Thank you, Dr. Wagmare. Ladies and gentlemen,
Just
now...
on lighter note, I had one small meeting with FSSAI leadership sometime. I said, let food remain the food. But better we learn to eat them like medicine.
Right.
On the broad category, we can consider that pharmas will be taken as an active pharma ingredients, which may give a lot of side effects. But when it comes to the nutraceuticals, it's going to be a bioactive ingredients, which is not having such effects. So that is what the major distribution, as a technically we can go through on that. On that basis only, the nutraceuticals is developing. That is what my view.
Thank you, panel members. And ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to call on stage Mr. Sameer Prakash Lord from Hexagon Nutrition to kindly do the honors of felicitating our wonderful panel of experts here. Sameer, welcome to the stage. And thank you so much for doing the honors. We will start with the felicitation of Mr. Sachin Gupte from PATH. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. Sachin Gupte from PATH for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Thank you, Sachin ji. Moving next to Mr. Narendra Savita from GreeNox Food. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. Narendra Savita from GreeNox Food for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Thank you, Narendra, for doing us a lot of knowledge sharing in this panel. Moving next to Dr. Pankaj Verma from Hindustan Unilever Limited. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Pankaj Verma from Hindustan Unilever Limited for his contribution in the panel. Thank you, Dr. Verma. Moving next to Dr. Mahesh Wagmare from Food Safety Standards Authority of India and the Ministry of Health, Government of India. A big round of applause for Dr. Mahesh Wagmare for his wonderful contribution in the panel session. Thank you, Dr. Wagmare, for sharing your thoughts. Moving next to Ms. Aparna Tandon Jain from Signutra. A big round of applause to Ms. Aparna for her wonderful contribution in the panel session. Thank you, Aparna, for your valuable contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Kriti Soni from 𝐅𝐴 Group. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Kriti Soni from 𝐅𝐴 Group for her valuable insights and contribution in the panel session. Thank you, Dr. Kriti, for your valuable insights. And now, our honorable moderator for the panel, Dr. 𝐼𝐴 from 𝐿-Nutrica. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. 𝐼𝐴 for wonderfully moderating this panel session and also sharing his valuable insights. Thank you, Dr. Manickavasagam, for that. Request all the panel members to kindly step forward for a group photograph. Samir, if you could also join them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our panel session on lifestyle changes and nutraceuticals, nutrients, food, diets and people, and a solid 1 hour of discussion we had with these experts. A big round of applause once again for this wonderful panel of the experts who discussed on this very crucial subject. And thank you to all the panel members once again for their knowledge sharing. Thank you to Dr. Manickavasagam for doing excellent job in moderating, and thank you, Samir, for doing the honors as well.